Hello everyone. Welcome to another Friday afternoon and another garden chat. I'm Allison with Green Goddess Plants and Seeds, and I invite you to sit down with a cup of tea and join me for a few minutes. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm so glad you could join me for a cup of tea on this Friday afternoon. So as you can see, we've got snow. Let's see, in the wee hours of Wednesday morning it started to snow, and we actually got a fairly good dump between Wednesday morning and by Wednesday evening it started to taper off, but it was still snowing. But yes, the snow has arrived and it's here to stay, so it's safe to say winter's here. So I went out briefly to shoot a little bit outside there today, and the wind's pretty brisk, so it's a good day to stay inside and do other things. So one of the things I did this morning, was mix up some fruitcakes for Christmas. We are actually doing fruitcakes for the Christmas market, which is on the 11th of December. So ideally the fruitcakes probably should have been made like probably 2 weeks ago. But yeah, we had to wait till I had the money to buy the supplies for the fruitcakes before we could get going on them. So we are a little bit late, but they should be okay. So the second batch of cakes is in the oven right now. So I make the recipe I use is for a almond orange fruitcake, and it's quite nice, quite a pleasant, moist cake. So part of the reason why you do make your cakes early, if you like fruitcake, is that they do have to cure, as they say, or age. And then what you do is once a week you pour some either rum or brandy over them, and that helps to keep them moist. It helps to preserve them as well, so then it helps to improve the flavor. So that's what we're doing. So hopefully by the time the Christmas market arrives, we'll have, maybe 6 or 8 cakes that we can then sell at the market. So that's kind of what I've been doing on this cold day. Oh, we got cats. We got several cats, so they're all feeling a bit tense here because of the weather. It's too cold. They want to go outside, but it's cold, so they don't want to go outside. So anyway, so the other thing I'm doing while I'm waiting for my cakes to bake is I'm just kind of going through my seeds again, going through some of my records and my lists of what I grew last year, and just trying to review what I grew. And some things did better than others, and I was happier with some tomato varieties than I was with others. So I'm just kind of reviewing that a little bit. I always do keep a written record of the varieties that I grow and how many I actually have for sale and that kind of thing. So, but yeah, I don't mind doing that. It's kind of thought-provoking, and then to go back and look at it and see what grew, what I liked, what I didn't like. There's some new ones this year. Like every year when I do my plant sale in the spring, I always change up what I'm growing. There are a few varieties that are always going to be on my plant sale list, but most of them usually end up getting swapped out for other varieties, new varieties that I wanted to try. So, but some of them, like the Blue Fire. The Blue Fire and the Dark Galaxy were almost identical. They looked almost identical to each other, but the Dark Galaxy had the better flavor. So I do have some leftover seed for the Blue Fire, but I probably won't grow it out now for a couple of years. Maybe 2 or 3 years from now, I might grow it out just for the sake of using up the seed. And that's good. You should always try to grow new varieties and different varieties, because that's the only way you find things that you like. It's the only way to find the ones that really taste good, right? And the other one, there's some other old standbys. A Centennial Rocket I always grow. It's a good prairie tomato. I had the Brad's Atomic Grape, which I was actually impressed with. I wasn't quite sure what to think of it. I know I heard a lot about it. And so this year I decided, well, I'm going to grow that. But I was actually impressed with it. It was loaded with fruit. Unfortunately, our growing season is short, and the things didn't ripen. So that's something we have to try and um, work with. Like I've been lived here all my life, so I know the growing season is short. But I think there are probably things that we can do to extend this season a little bit. I think I'd like to try using row covers and crop covers early in the spring to get things in the ground earlier, to give them that extra bit of time. I do know that anything that does have the antho coloring in it does tend to take a lot longer to ripen than everything else. But the Helsing Junction Blues is another favorite of mine, but I don't know if I'll grow it next year. I might swap it out for something else. DaCosta's Portuguese, that was a new one for me this year, and they were huge, big, huge, giant tomatoes, but they didn't ripen. So I was kind of disappointed with that. And by the time they did ripen, they were all cracked in the top and starting to rot. So I was just hugely disappointed because they looked like nice, big, beefy tomatoes. A couple other new ones. Dr. White Cheese Yellow. I actually got some good fruit off the Dr. White Cheese, and it was a nice, good tomato. Nice, sweet flavor. I also grew the Summer Sunrise and the Florentine Beauty. I didn't really get a lot of fruit off the Summer Sunrise. I think maybe I got one off of the plants, and they were the Summer Sunrise it was a dwarf variety that I ordered from Hudson Valley, I think. So I wasn't too impressed because they didn't really seem to produce like I thought they would, like a dwarf tomato plant should. And then I also grew the Florentine Beauty. The Florentine Beauty was a gorgeous looking tomato. If you think of, or if you're familiar with the red mushroom basket tomato, well, think of that in a bright yellow. It was just, yeah. I only got one ripe fruit off the Florentine Beauty. I was really concerned because it was so late in just blooming, let alone setting fruit. I honestly didn't think I would get anything off of it, but it looked really gorgeous, but I was disappointed with the flavor. It really had no flavor. It was kind of mealy and mushy, and I was going to try and save seeds for it and see, well, maybe if I save seeds, it might perform better next year. But the fruit that I cut open had no seeds in it at all. None. I went through that one fruit and I could not find a single seed in it. So I probably will not be growing that one again for a while. Maybe in a few years' time I might grow it out just to use the seed. But that's the kind of thing that I'm doing right now. Is just kind of going through my notes, kind of reviewing what I grew, what we did, and maybe some options for plants for next year. I know I've got tons of seed that I ordered late spring, so it didn't even get started. So there's lots of options for seed. Like I've got orange jazz. So this is sort of a sister to the pink jazz, which I did grow, and the pink jazz did really nice. They had nice, big, huge tomatoes. And so this is an orange variety of the pink jazz. So that might be an option. Another option that I'm really thinking might end up on my grow out list is the gold medal. Now the gold medal is also known as ruby gold. At some point the name changed. I don't know who or why they did it, but the name changed. So the first time I grew this, I grew it as ruby gold. And then I ran out of seeds and I wasn't seed saving at that time. So then I went the ruby gold seed, but I do know that the gold medal is the same variety. So this might make it onto my grow out list this year because I'd like to see it again in the garden. And then there's some other ones. Like I said in my last video, I'm hoping to focus on more good processing and canning varieties and stuff like that. So I think Magnus is another good old heirloom that I'm hoping to get in the garden this year. But I've got a few others. There's Magnus, there's what else do I have here? I've got so many here that need to, I've got Fireball. I don't remember that one. Ferris Wheel, I grew that one last year. What else do we got here? But there, yeah, I'm gonna have to go through all my varieties and to see what I've got for good red canners. I mean, like the Centennial Rocket, even though it's a smaller tomato, would be a good processing tomato. The Manitoba is a really good all-purpose tomato. The Starfire is a good all-purpose tomato. So those are all. The Manitoba is definitely they're one of the few sort of perennial varieties that I will always grow out on my for the plant sale because they are very popular. And technically they are an heirloom tomato, even though they are popular and they're very common. They can be found everywhere. I'll probably still include them in my plant sale. But yeah, there's lots that I said I grew out that are not the seeds that I purchased that I haven't grown out yet. I've got lots of them here that I haven't even considered for the garden. Like I've got the white tomasol, and I've got the Thornburn's lemon bush. Was it last year or the year before I grew the Thornburn's terracotta, which did really well. I was really happy with it. What else we got here? We got lots to go through. Lots. What else do I have here? Golden Queen is a perennial favorite. This will always be in my garden, whether I have it for the plant sale or not. It will always end up in my garden. And then there's a few others here that, you know, that I haven't grown a long time, like the David's Ivory Pineapple. That was a really nice tomato. Nice lighter colored yellow with a little bit of pink. It had a really nice flavor. What else do we got here? Oh, yeah. So lots of options to keep me busy for the next year's tomato season. So that's kind of what I'm doing today as I wait for my cakes, the fruit cakes to finish baking. I did actually start my own database with the varieties. I've started entering stuff, but I haven't gotten very far with it. Just between having to take on the part-time job and that, it's my free time isn't quite what it was anymore. So, but anyway, I have today off, so I'm enjoying a day inside. Like I said, the wind is quite brisk out there today, so it's quite cold. Tomorrow is supposed to be not bad, but of course I'm working tomorrow, so I won't be able to do much. Anyway, I hope you're having a good day. Happy Friday, happy weekend, and I hope you're enjoying yourselves. If you're still gardening, great, good for you. You know, if your garden's put to bed, you know, hope you enjoy your afternoon. If you got snow on the ground, stay warm. So until next time, we'll be talking to you again real soon, so take care.